Federal investigators are still trying to crack into the iPhone used by one of the San Bernardino shooters, and without the help of Apple. News 4's Angela Cristoforos explains how having a backdoor to the iPhone could affect investigations here in Western New York.
Members of local law enforcement say not being able to get into iPhones has posed a challenge for local cases and impeded prosecutions. Now, acting Erie County District Attorney is joining other DAs across the state to recommend policy changes.
To require companies which do business in New York to make their cell phones or their mobile phones accessible, again, upon a lawful, valid court order.
Michael Flaherty says even if law enforcement has probable cause to believe a cell phone contains evidence of a crime, they are not able to go through it because of the phone's encryption. In the case of an opioid overdose, having that access could play a large role in aiding an investigation.
The first responders get there, and what's next to the body or with the body is almost always a phone. And on that phone, we know that the last person the addict talked to, either through text messages or phone calls or email, is going to be the dealer. And that information could be so helpful to law enforcement in identifying who sold this deadly dosage to this victim.
Flaherty says cell phone companies are not willing to help in these types of situations that law enforcement run into every day, and that affects their ability to protect the public. In the national battle of Apple versus FBI, FBI has said it cannot get into the iPhone used by one of the San Bernardino shooters without Apple's help.
Apple's argument against turning over its code, even for this one phone, is that this violates its due process. Secondly, another claim has been made that the code that it's written is protected by the First Amendment.
I understand the desire for privacy from the prying eyes of the government, but what we're talking about is the inability of law enforcement to get information that a judge has said they're entitled to get.
The Erie County District Attorney's Office will be joining with other DAs from across the state to push for policy changes and to get lawmakers on board. But it may be a while before any changes are made. Reporting in Buffalo, Angela Cristoforos, News 4.